Hello. Today we are going to focus on the horoscope of Ukraine and Mr. Zelensky and the peace talks that are taking place right now in Genf, I think, in Switzerland. So we'll see what astrology says about it. And we did have a look at these horoscopes already, but we'll look at them again and we'll see how future of Ukraine may look like according to astrology and future of Mr. Zelensky. I got a new camera. I hope that it is better than the old one. For the time being, I don't know really how to use it, but we'll see how it works. Anyway, let's get to the horoscopes. So I will become... 1 second. I will become small. Come on. Yep. So let's have a look first at the progressions of Ukraine. So I progressed horoscope of Ukraine, and what we can see here straight away is that progressed Venus is going to conjunct natal this natal trio, this natal stellium in Leo and Virgo of Ukraine in the 7th and is it 7th and 8th house, or no, it's just the 7th house. So this is the house of partnership. If we are talking about relationship between two people, like a couple, a married couple, for example, or maybe business partners if you're working together with another person, if you have a business relationship, if you are in a partnership, like you have a company with a friend or a colleague. So that would be the house regarding partnerships, widely understood. And Venus in this house, technically speaking, should bring some sort of grace, beauty and diplomacy. When it touches Mercury, and it is going to happen sooner or later. Mercury is 2558 and Venus is 2444. 1 second, I will move it forward. 2558. That's going to be April 2028. So this aspect alone could bring diplomacy and conversation to Ukraine. But this is 2028. It's not now yet, so we will not discuss it. We'll go backwards, and we'll see when opposition already happened, didn't it? Yeah, we had opposition in year 2022. Isn't that the period when the war started? But yes, progressed horoscope. So mostly that's the most important interaction. We'll skip it for the time being, and let's have a look into the transit horoscope of Ukraine, because this is much more interesting for the time being. So first of all, we have Pluto that is technically speaking still in conjunction with Saturn of Ukraine, and that would bring immense. Pluto usually destroys and makes room for the new. So if you have a house, Pluto comes into a significant aspect in your horoscope, for example, so it takes down the house, it destroys it, whether it's weather event or maybe fire or something like that, takes down your house and makes room and place for something better, more efficient, and simply better. Yes. So this is happening in the 12th house of Ukraine. The horoscope of Ukraine is working pretty well with astrology, so these are the good dates for Ukraine. So that would bring immense pressure from hidden enemies, and in general would bring destruction to governmental structures as well of Ukraine, even though they are in the 12th house and responsible for, let's say, widely understood mysticism, things that we cannot comprehend with our minds, but with our feelings, with our souls. And this is where government of Ukraine is sitting, in this 12th house that is hidden and ruled by Pluto. So Pluto is strong in this house of Ukraine. And then again, I'm talking about this construct that we are having in the sky. So Pluto, Saturn, Neptune and Uranus are working together, and they create this massive energy shift that is going to affect 90% of population of Earth somehow. And so this is one of the aspects that is destroying the ruling class, let's say, of Ukraine, to provide Ukraine with new, better ruling class. In theory, yeah. But the next aspect Pluto is going to do is to conjunct the ascendant of Ukraine. So how Ukraine is being seen by the world, by the outside world. And that is going to be a very important aspect for Ukraine as well. And the question is, did Ukraine, because Ukraine as such is a young entity, young country, I'm not talking about the Ukrainian identity as a nation, but I'm talking about the physical country that was established in 1991 after the Soviet Union collapsed. Yeah, 1991. So the question is, did Ukraine as nation did enough during Pluto passing through these 4 houses, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, before touching the ascendant, to survive the change and build something better? But I do assume that when Pluto touches ascendant, that's gonna be later this year, I think. It is going to be a destruction or rebirth, in this case, of a country. But in the same time, transiting Uranus is going to aspect the roots of the country. So usually Uranus brings some sort of revolutions, sudden change, unexpected events. So this is what Uranus is bringing, but this time it is going to affect the roots where Ukraine is coming from. So when it touches this point in the horoscope of a nation, it usually brings some sort of revolution and uprisings within the nation. And this is what we could expect as well in this tense period for Ukraine. And that is going to happen in the year 2026. 1 second. So we are December 2025, January 2025, and so that's gonna be summer 2025, especially when Mars joins Uranus. That would be around around the 4th of July, 4th of July in States. So that can be a moment, a trigger moment, where emotions regarding the roots where Ukraine is coming from can be lit. And it is powered by Pluto as well. These two planets are in a harmonious relationship, very explosive harmonious relationship, because Pluto, plutonium, Uranus, uranium, so they are as well responsible for these two elements in the periodic table that are used to build weapons of mass destruction. That's it, yeah. And in the same time, Uranus is, they are not going to be exact, yes, but they are going to be close to the both ascendant and IC, the root point of horoscope, and the face of the horoscope, how Ukraine is seen by others. So that is going to be quite interesting timing for Ukraine anyways, I would say. These 3 planets are going to work in harmony. So hopefully this energy that is immense, explosive, that's very strong. The last time we had a similar setup, but it wasn't as strong because Saturn wasn't joining this conjunction with Neptune, was in the year 746, I think. This is the fall of the Roman Empire, official fall of the Roman Empire. But at this stage, we can expect some sort of activity regarding Ukraine. And as I said, Pluto gives ends, death, and then rebirth like a phoenix. So if it's passing through the Saturn in the 12th house, that would be the government that is a hidden government as well. Pluto feels really well in 12 houses. It's very strong in general. So that would be the fall and rebirth of the government of Ukraine. One thing. And then when Pluto enters the ascendant of Ukraine, that would be the fall and rebirth of how the nation is seen by others. And that is going to happen in 2027 for the first time, but in reality, the last pass of Pluto, and through Saturn, Pluto is going to pass for the last time in December 2025. Let's see where Saturn is, 131, and Pluto is 131. So actually the last pass is done on the 9th of November this year. That was the last pass of Pluto. I think that this is where all the offensive in Pokrovka started at the beginning of November 2025. But the interesting timing regarding this transit, because Pluto is still very strong, is going to be at the beginning of, not the beginning, the end of January. So let's say we'll have all this stellium giving extra power to this point in horoscope, and that's going to be the 19th, the 20th, the 22nd, 23rd, 27th of January. So 3rd, 4th week of January can give extra energy to this point regarding how Ukraine is governed by these people. The next one that is important anyway for everyone, that's gonna be around the 20th of February, and this aspect is creating a non-harmonious aspect to the sun of Ukraine, and as I said before, this point is very difficult. Is not only very difficult, but is very important for everyone that has a placement in the early Virgo and early Scorpio, as far as I remember, because these three planets, Saturn, Neptune from one side and Pluto from the other side, are creating a yod, a finger of God. That's a very strong construct that is sending loads of but non-harmonious energy to this point. If you know how to work with it, you use the other side of the horoscope to get it sorted. So in this case, that would be the first house of the horoscope of Ukraine. And Ukraine does not have any placement in here, but they should try to resolve this crisis, because this is going to be a crisis in a way for the ego of Ukraine and how Ukraine is being seen by partners all over the world. So technically speaking, the answer for Ukraine should be keeping up appearance the best they can to show themselves to the world. And that's gonna happen around the 20th of February 2026. But they are long-lasting aspects. It takes time for them to act, unroll their weeks and months and years sometimes. But the trigger point here can be the aspects of these planets going through the natal moon. So I would assume that January, February are going to be interesting for Ukraine anyways. So late January and then early February, whenever these planets touch the emotions of Ukraine that are on the appearance of Ukraine, I would say that this is the place they should be looking answers for the major difficult transit that is going to be on the 19th, 20th of February, depending where you live. And so whenever Sun, for example, conjuncts natal moon and opposes in the same time it would be opposing Venus, no, Mercury. It would be opposing one second, it wouldn't be opposing anything, almost. Venus is opposing Sun in the same time, so that's extra energy sent to this point. Again, keeping up appearance as a country, as a fully functional country, as much as they can, would be the only point to work through this crisis. And then the next point is coming as as I said before, Uranus aspecting the roots, so the god of chaos entering this very point, and that is going to happen. Let me just as I said before, summer 2026, the 4th of July can be some sort of initiation event regarding the stability of the roots of Ukraine as such. And is Uranus going to pass through it? Yes, that's gonna be the first pass. The second one backwards is going to be in October, and then the third is gonna be in May 2027, and that's it. May 2027 it's going to be the last pass with Pluto on the Ascendant. That they are going to be difficult years for Ukraine anyway. So this is what I see through astrology regarding Ukraine as such. And then we'll have Jupiter passing through a descendant of Ukraine as well in the similar timing. And this timing, I think I did make a video about that as well, when we'll have a conjunction of transiting Pluto and Moon, and transiting Sun and Jupiter on the descendant and ascendant of Ukraine. That's 29th of July 2026. These are events of exalted partnerships with others. Maybe a need for building new partnerships will be very strong. So that's July 2026, while in the same time, technically speaking, the midpoint of between Saturn and Ascendant, so this is the between phase and this government that is actually hidden in Ukraine, being aspected by destructive power of Pluto and emotions that are going to join this very midpoint between these two planets, more or less. So that may be interesting timing as well. Plus we have Uranus here. Yeah, but let's go to Mr. Zelensky now. So this is the Ukraine for next couple of years, sorted from the point of view of the horoscope. And this is Mr. Zelensky. These are the progressed movements of his horoscope for November 2025. And in the progressed horoscope, we have as the done or not. It is done. So he had a T-square from Sun to his ascendant and descendant. These two squares creating T-square. That was let's say an aspect that lasts about a year, 2 years. Very important and very difficult to work with, but workable. How Mr. Zelensky did, we'll see in future, but this aspect is gone. And as of, I'm sorry, 1 second. And as of December 2023, the main aspects that Mr. Zelensky will have in the progressed horoscopes are going to be, that's 2027. Okay, no, yeah. Let's forget about the progressed horoscope of Mr. Zelensky, because the most important stuff is actually happening here in his transit horoscope. So that is in the, as I said many times, progressions would be like astrological climate, and transits would be like astrological weather. So weather is changes much more dramatically than climate. And the interesting things that are going to happen in his horoscope let's have a look what's going on right now. 25th of November. This is like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning on the 25th of November 2025, as I'm here in Ireland. So this is this aspect is gone, yeah, but it is going, Moon is going to add extra drama to his wealth and communication abilities, or rather his masculinity in communication abilities. So technically speaking, he's forced to speak, to communicate at this stage. That's not so important yet. The next things that are going to happen are he will still have will to fight. That's till the 29th, let's say, of the month, and try to make the best out of the deal. There is this T-square aspecting his Jupiter and his Ceres, so that is going to be difficult energy to work with, but this is not what I want to the most important events for Mr. Zelensky are, in my less than humble opinion, common. First of all, that might be interesting timing, where these three planets, the stellium, will aspect his Mercury. That's gonna be the beginning of January. This is masculine energy and feminine energy and ego energy, going to aspect his communication abilities that are within his in a way roots and possessions that he inherited, and that's gonna be non-harmonious energy to his emotions in the communication sector. So I would say that there might be some action regarding his maybe he will have to move somewhere, maybe he'll be forced to leave his position, or maybe he'll be forced to leave Ukraine, maybe. But the interesting thing happens, transiting Pluto is approaching his superpower, and his superpower is his ego in connection with grace and development. And this stellium is gonna create a reverse yard as well to his roots and to his how he's seen by others. So that's the 11th of January, more or less. But I think that the most important part here is going to be played by this stellium of planets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are going to join Pluto. That is going to be very close to his ego, to his sun, to his existence, and they are going to create, look, this reverse yard as well. So if Pluto passes through any of the personal planets, it usually is, as we've spoken about Ukraine before, it usually is a period where something simple has to die, whether it's ego and then you evolve, or whether you maybe get sick, for example, on the other side of the spectrum. So these are extremely difficult times. I did pass through one of these transits of Pluto pass. I did have Pluto passing through one of my personal planets. There are two more conjunctions that I expect in my life. One of them very soon. And these were one of the most difficult times in my life. But then, on the other hand, they were the times that gave me the most boost and gave me another perspective and made lots of room for improvement. But as Mr. Zelensky has two planets here, this is his superpower. And I would expect that at this stage he should mind himself, yeah? Both physically and emotionally, because that is going to be difficult time for him, even though these two planets are not in the worst placement in the world, but in these In Uranus, that would be revolutions and unexpected events as well. So especially this period around the 19th of January till the end of January, where all these planets will be passing. Let's see where his Sun is 507 and Pluto is 318. So that's 2 degrees away. That can be a very specific and very energetic and dynamic period for himself. In the same time, I think that he is receiving a number of and he's getting this double quincunx to his Saturn as well. These are going to be difficult times, and quincunx from Pluto to is it Pluto? No, Pluto already made quincunx to Jupiter. These are going to be difficult times for Mr. Zelensky. I would say especially this period around 19th to the end of January, and then if he gets through it, let's say through January, there should be some release maybe in February, even though not easy. But this transit is still going to affect him, and if everything goes well, it won't. Pluto won't finish its job till February 2027. Yeah, oh no, even more. December 2027, something like that. So this is a very, very dramatic and very strong transit for Mr. Zelensky, and I don't have any emotions regarding horoscopes, and does not matter whether I like someone or don't. Ambivalent approach, but this is going to be a very, very dramatic and energetic time for Mr. Zelensky, especially this end of January, I would say. And then we'll see. January, February is going to be stressful for most of us probably, but if all goes good, maybe we'll have a look at horoscope of Mr. Zelensky again, if applicable, somewhere next year. But for the time being, as I said, but you don't have to be an astrologer, but I'm just showing, if you're doing astrology, if you're doing horoscopes, you can have a look at his horoscope. The date is available online. 1978. So you can see how dramatic changes transits of Pluto bring, especially in companion with Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus, and in his case Jupiter as well. So, well, interesting timing for Mr. Zelensky and Ukraine, and let me know in the comments below what you want to watch next and what horoscope should I do next. And that's it for today. It's very late. I'm going to bed. Bye bye.